All right, test test. Looks like we got volume. Looks like we're showing. Okay. Hello, all. This is always one of the weirder streams each year because it's just going to be me blabbing about how much I love WBC while half making my WBC schedule. But sometimes it's a lot of fun. People hang out, we chat, we just talk games. So if that's of interest to you, welcome. If you think this is crazy, you're probably somewhat right. But anyhow, for those who somehow are not aware, WBC is the World Board Game Championships. It's a very grandiose title for a week-long board gaming tournament that I love going to. It is held in kind of rural Pennsylvania at the Seven Springs Mountain Resort, which is over an hour kind of southeast of Pittsburgh. It's hard to get to, but once you're there, it's an excellent time, very enjoyable. So yeah, I always have a really great time, really enjoy going. It's a thing I first went in 2018, and then I've been every year since. It starts on Saturday and runs all the way through the next Sunday, so it's 9 days, but it's really 8 days. The very last Sunday, there's not a lot going on, but it's still like 8 full days of gaming. I wake up, I go to the convention center. The scheduled gaming begins around 9 o'clock, and you can be playing scheduled games basically till midnight. So yeah, that's basically what I do every day. I play games till about midnight, go to bed, and repeat for 8 days straight, and I absolutely love it. WBC is focused on tournament board game play, so they schedule tournaments in about 150 different games, and that's kind of what this video is about. The schedule just released, so it's kind of exciting because you can go start to piece together what I'll actually be playing. For some people, you just go play the games you want, you don't really care, but part of the fun for some of us is figuring out what tournaments fit together and, how much we can go, and if you want to go that way, you can. Most tournaments at WBC run a couple of heats into a advancement rounds. So the heats are open; anybody can show up, and you play. It's part of why I love the con. You literally just wander in. To like, if Agricola has a heat at 2 o'clock, you just show up at like 1:55, sign up, and then you're playing Agricola a short while later against three other people that love to play Agricola, and it's magical. I've met so many friends there. I love the flexibility of being able to kind of just play what you want each day. You just kind of look at the schedule and be like, "Hey, let's go wander to this room and play that." You don't have to try to you don't have to try to be online months in advance to secure tickets to certain slots or anything like you do at other cons or events that can get really frustrating. And you don't have to like lock yourself in months in advance either, assuming you know what you're going to want to do or figure out if you need a break or not. At WBC, you want a break, you just stop. Like, yeah, it's so flexible, so nice. A lot of people love the open gaming too at WBC. The open gaming area is totally legit. It's very good. It works well. Um, to me, the magic of WBC is the whole tournament games and all of that. Not to knock open gaming, but to me, the open gaming area is fairly similar to a lot of other cons' open gaming areas, and I always find open gaming areas a little bit tricky to navigate, but more so because I am pickier in what games I want to play and how I want to play them. To me, games take on a magical quality when everybody already knows the rules and possibly even knows some of the basic strategies, and we all get to sit down with people that love the game and are going to play it, you know, yeah, they're going to play it. They're going to play it relatively quickly. Like, I don't know. It's games are elevated under that situation, and that is the part that I find difficult to get at most local or other conventions because most of those conventions are focused on allowing people to try games, to teach games, and that's obviously a fully worthy endeavor. It's fun to go do that. It's just that's what a lot of cons do well. There are very few cons that do like focused gaming well, and WBC, in my opinion, is kind of the premier one offering that experience, and it's why some subset of us choose to go hunt it down 8 days every year. The other awesome part about WBC is there's a ton of legacy. There's all this history that you can go see the results every year. They have event reports going back 20 plus years of what happens every year and all of their tournaments they run each year. They give the only prizes at WBC are like plaques and these fictional internet points called laurels, but that's the perfect stakes. Also, there's no real money on the line. Nobody really cares who wins, and yet I do kind of I it doesn't really matter who wins, but it's fun to try to do as well as you can and see how you stack up. If that's the thing you want to do. If you also just want to treat it like open gaming, go do that. Like it does not matter. That's the other joy. You can engage with this as much as you do or don't want at WBC. But I enjoy kind of min maxing my schedule in order to get in a lot of tournaments for a lot of games I enjoy. Yeah, again, I've been going since 2018. I've had some very successful years, including last year. I took third overall, which was really fun and felt good. A lot of practice of a lot of these games over a lot of years has got me to the point where I'm pretty competitive at a good number of them. And it's been a joy to find all these games that people love and really dive in and get very, learn from them and get good and all that. That's the other reason I've loved WBC as you go. And these games that you enjoy, you get to play with people that love it, who are very good at it. They're often very willing to talk a strategy, to teach you some stuff. And it's part of how I've gotten good at a lot of these is losing to people that are better than me and getting to rack their brains and learn from them and practice with them. And yeah. So anyhow, I'm really excited. WBC does rely on volunteer GMs in order to make it work. Sorry. Um, they rely on volunteers to run the events, and they rely on people to bring copies of the games to make the events work, which is also kind of a unique format. Um, on that front, I do help run some games, so that's the first thing we're about to go throw. It's the first thing we're about to go throw into the schedule is I'm about to go throw in the games that I'm GMing, because I kind of have to be there for those. Call friends and family. Rainier's back. Hey, Zach. Yeah, again, I've not been streaming a hell of a lot lately. Life's been relatively busy, which is good, but I'm a little sad. I do miss the streaming days. Um, Although I don't know if it's fully fair. I do think streaming was also a little bit more fun for kind of everybody in general back in the day because it was a little easier, I think, for all of us to be online and chatting with friends and stuff. I also think there's slightly less people on Twitch. That could very well be wrong. That could just be the fact that I'm not on Twitch very much anymore, so I don't see it as much, coupled with I don't stream much, so I don't really bring much of an audience in anymore, so I don't necessarily have that many people to chat with. But anyhow, that all compounds into it's not always as fun for me to log in anymore either. But also I don't have as much evenings where I'm just gonna go play on BGA anymore. So COVID was probably the golden age of Streamly, but community is still somewhat active. Yeah, yeah. To be clear, I still enjoy streaming, and I still think there's enough of a community that it's fun. I just think for a while there, especially like Lumen had his daily streams and had like a pretty active community, especially during that kind of year or two in pandemic. A lot of people had started to build up. I don't think it's like completely gone, but yes, in terms of golden age, at least amongst board game streamers, I agree. I think there was slightly more at one point, and just more stream variety in terms of number of streamers and stuff. But there's still people that are active, right? There's still people in the Agricola world that are streaming somewhat regularly. I still think Terra Mystica has some active streamers. So yeah, Alex streamed a lot for a while after Lumen quit, but now he does not stream as often, but still every now and then. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Like, there still are other Agricola streamers, right? And there's still community, and people still tune into the streams. When I stream, I still get some people, including you right now. So, like, I appreciate it. Um, and other people still bop into my streams and stuff when I do get around to it. Um, and admittedly, the other problem for me lately is I've been streaming a lot of Arc Nova, right? But also most of my audience for a while there was Agricola people or Terra Mystica. But like, I don't think I have as much of a Arc Nova draw either. So again, a lot of looping together into like I'm not really doing great. I also have not been uploaded to YouTube a lot, so I don't know if anybody's reaching. Yada yada yada. Again, I'm not really trying to max numbers though, but part of the streaming fun for a little bit there was there was a slightly more community type feel, and I've not been doing as well at fostering that, nor do I have it as much. So yeah, it's a little, even when I do stream, sometimes I'm not enjoying it quite as much as I once was, but also it's mostly just there's a lot else going on in life. But I would like to get back to streaming a little bit, so hopefully I will. But as for WBC schedule, as I said, so I tend to I'm a little weird, but my streaming or my schedule, I tend to put a bunch of stuff in on each day. Each day we got these time blocks. I tend to mark stuff off, but some days there are multiple things that I might be interested in. I tend to kind of leave my schedule a little bit flexible of like, well, maybe I'm in the advancement round of this, but maybe I want to play this, maybe that. So yeah, there's gonna be a bit of that. I should also see if I can't make this bigger, right? If all I'm streaming is this, let's make it easier for people to actually follow with if they actually want to. But anyhow, let's just actually, yeah, let's go ahead and just find what I'm running, where my name's at, because that's worth knowing. All right, we have a St. Petersburg demo, Tuesday 21. Oof. Okay, that I might have to work on, because that sounds not ideal. But I don't know how easy it's going to be to move that, so I may have to find somebody to do this for me. But St. Pete demo, here we are, Tuesday at 21. Luckily, I know a lot of people at WBC nowadays, and I am able to get some people to help me with various things, which is great. I really appreciate the help. The fact that demo is immediately before the heat is also, frankly, that is a nice feature for, I think, in general. If people want to go learn, you can learn and then immediately play. It's kind of awkward if there's a gap. I just suspect that's not going to work great for my schedule, is my intuition. But we will find out. And then Wednesday at 9 right away. Okay, cool. So basically, yeah, the next morning we just keep playing more St. Pete. Nothing wrong with that. All right, get that locked in there. I have enjoyed St. Petersburg a good bit over the years, and I was happy enough to step up and be the new GM for St. Petersburg a couple years ago. I will admit I have been souring on St. Petersburg since. This is very likely the last year that I will GM St. Petersburg at WBC, because I just no longer care quite as much as I once did about St. Petersburg, and I don't necessarily want to be running and forcing St. Petersburg upon myself every year, but it's all right. I also kind of expect the St. Petersburg final to get rescheduled. I also probably don't have to be there for it, but we need to mark it on there because I am GMing it, so I still have to be responsible for it. At some point here, I also have to pay attention to what rooms these are in and check how the rooms are laid out, but it should be fine. But yeah. And then the other event I'm running, though, is Moon Colony Bloodbath, and I am still pretty high on Moon Colony Bloodbath. I think it's a very fun game. I think it's really good. It's turned to be surprisingly higher skill than I thought. I don't want to, like... I don't want to claim that Moon Colony Bloodbath is, like, particularly insanely skilled by any means, but I think there's more skill than a lot of people are willing to give it credit for. Moon Colony Bloodbath, we're just running continuously again this year, just back to back to back until it's done. Although it looks like this in this schedule, I really am hoping that the semifinal doesn't actually drag too long. I would hope that I could actually start the semifinal before 11, to be honest, but well, we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to competing in Moon Colony Bloodbath again. I do think a lot of people have been playing and getting better though, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Last year I was able to take 3rd overall, which was cool. But hello, Patrick and chat. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Yeah, it's a fun day, right? Everybody's all of a sudden gets WBC on the brain. You get the schedule. You get all the excitement as you start thinking about it. WBC is like 7 weeks away or something. Like it's gonna come up faster than we think, and yeah, you get to start imagining all the games you're gonna play and what you're gonna do. So uh, that's where we're at. But yeah, all right. So that locks in the stuff that I'm GMing. So that was good to get out of the way. Uh, get those locked in. Yeah, how I typically build my schedule is start just plopping in games that I care about, and you start kind of seeing how things go. And if stuff super heavily conflicts, you just kind of know. But on that front, I do usually try to note events I'm playing, events that maybe work. These are ones that I usually won't actually like. Events I'm playing are the ones that I tend to list in the schedule, list on my schedule. Um, Events that maybe work are ones that look like they could work, but I'm not putting on the schedule. And then events that don't work are the ones that I don't have on my schedule, that I don't put on my schedule because there's just too many conflicts. Um, we'll see how bad that is this year. I think this year looked basically the GMs kind of do a scheduling effort around Eric Freeman's work, and so I kind of have a good idea of what a lot of events time slots are going to be before the actual schedule comes out because Eric does such a good job kind of communicating and laying everything out for everybody. I think this is going to be a slightly above average year for me in terms of not having horrific conflicts, but we will see. There's no guarantees. Anyhow, the next event we're going to throw in is Agricola. Obviously, I really love Agricola. I have a great time with it. And on top of that, I'm probably, or more than probably, I'm pretty confident I am listed as an AGM, so assistant GMing with Lumen. I'm definitely willing to help out Lumen, although luckily Lumen doesn't really need a lot of help most of the time in terms of running this. But I also love Agricola, and I do want to compete in it. I was fortunate enough to finally claim the Agricola title last year. I managed to become the WBC Agricola champ after uh, a pretty cool progression over the years. In 2018, when I first showed up, I got smoked in the Agricola heats, did not get a win, was not particularly competitive. In 2019, I was good enough to get a heat win, but I could not advance to the semifinals. I did not have enough overall other results. In 2022, I made the semifinals, but like took third there. And then in 2023, I made the finals, but took fourth place overall. In 2024, I made the finals and lost by a single point to my good friend Andrew Martin. And then, yeah, finally last year, 2025, I made the finals, and I think I won by a single point to Shadow, who was one of the main guys who helped teach me a lot of what I know about Agricola. So anyhow, very cool progression of like just yeah, every year kind of just keep doing a little bit better. But yeah, what is there to do now? I guess be the first repeat champion in Agricola's history. But realistically, I've been on a hell of a heater the last several years. Um, I suspect yeah, it's about time for me to have some bad luck in Agricola. But I mean, I guess that's a fallacy. That's not really how it works. But at the same time, yeah, I certainly by no means am like, well, I've ascended the Agricola, and I'm just gonna keep winning year after year. Like that's nonsense. It's a very hard field. Arguably the hardest field at WBC is the Agricola field. There are so many players that are wildly good and have hundreds of plays. It is very difficult to be competitive in the Agricola field. Um, I'm no longer going to be putting finals onto my schedule. If I'm lucky enough to make finals, cool. I will throw them in, but I'm in no way planning to be in finals. Even a lot of these semifinals, there's no guarantee you're going to make semifinals at WBC. It's tough fields. There's no guarantee I make the Agricola semifinals. I could easily show up and lose, take some second or third places to other very good players and not even get enough wins to make the semis. I've been very fortunate the last several years to just get my heat wins and make the semis and then win in the semis. But anyhow, I will be putting a bunch of semifinals on my sheet and I will be trying to avoid conflicting semifinals because like that stuff is important to me and I hope to make quite a few semifinals. I have been fortunate enough the last several years to do so. But anyhow, I certainly don't. I don't plan to make any finals, and so if they line up, if I do make finals, cool. I'll mark where they are. Sometimes they get rescheduled anyhow. I do think people are getting a little tired of rescheduling finals too often, so I wouldn't be shocked if finals are a little bit more locked in going forward into what their time slots actually say. But regardless, I will not be putting a bunch of finals onto this schedule. So but yeah, Agricola looks really good for our schedule again. Although again, that it looks good until we start throwing all the other stuff in, right? So let's start throwing some other stuff in. Speaking of other stuff that we're the defending champion, and Patrick's here. Patrick's the best Great Western player, and he should have. I don't know. I guess I don't know if I should say should have beat me last year. I required a lot of luck to beat Patrick in Great Western last year. I still think I made a solid bid. I do think I was in a good position to have a good game. But I do think ultimately Patrick outplayed me in that final, but I outlucked Patrick. And it turns out Great Western, there is enough luck that you can outluck the better player to slightly better results. I played a cowboy game and I bought I bought a brown cow and immediately top decked it. Bought a purple cow, immediately top decked it when trying to deliver. So I was able to just get these insanely high deliveries fresh off of these cows I just bought. Um, it was sweet. It was really sweet. It was really unfair, but it was really sweet. But yeah, so I was able to take down the Great Western Championship, which is cool. You like the new Tuesday Great Western block? The schedule compression policy seems like a good innovation. Yeah, let's talk about that quick. Great Western used to be an event that was really spread out during the week, right? And that was part of actually a slight annoyance last year of like by the time we got around to playing the semifinals, there wasn't any time to reschedule the finals, and the finals gets blocked up along with a bunch of other events, and that it still worked out for me last year, obviously. But yeah, it was a little annoying. I appreciate the goal this year was that many events were supposed to kind of run within 4 days, start to finish. Unless you have a quarterfinals, then it was supposed to kind of be 5. But yeah, a lot of events have kind of compressed a bit. I agree. I like this Tuesday. To be honest, I wish I did this a little bit more with my own games. I kind of messed up this year, and I was thinking about this, but it's too late now. But like St. Petersburg always has the issue too of like people don't really like to bring their copies for whatever reason. Like they leave them in their rooms or whatever because they don't want to be carrying them all day, which I kind of understand. But every year in St. Pete lately, I have to be like, hey, St. Pete's long out of print, guys. We need your copies. You gotta go bring them. So if I had run some like back-to-back heats, or if I had run Heat 3 right into the semifinals, yeah, it's pretty sweet, and like the copies are already there, they're already set up, so that can help you kind of get into stuff a bit faster. The only thing I will say is it's a little bit of extra pressure on the GM because you have to immediately figure out who's actually in the semifinals. Like you have to make sure you get that list right. Um, that's not that hard, but you do just got to make sure you're ready to run the results relatively quickly. Um, but yeah. Anyhow, Great Western, I'd like to compete in again this year. I make again. I Patrick is the best Great Western player. I think I am in the pretty good or very good tier. Like Patrick's ahead of me. I think a few other players are ahead of me, but I'm pretty dang competitive. Both of the last 2 years now, I made the Great Western Trail play by email finals. Um, this year I did. This year I think I took fourth overall, whereas I took third overall like a year or two ago. But that fourth I feel like was essentially second place. I lost 2 games on the arbitrary tiebreaker. And when I say arbitrary, I mean the game already has a tiebreaker, which is most money. But we tied on points and money, so then the tournament has a tiebreaker because it has to have one. But I'm going to claim I took second in the online event to Patrick this year, even though the official result says it was like fourth or something because I lost 2 tiebreaks on whatever. But I mean, also, if the other people had lost those tiebreaks, I just needed to find one more dollar or whatever. The games were insanely close, which was very fun. And speaking of insanely close, I mean, what I only beat Patrick by like a handful of points last year in the final, despite having the most insane luck. So, um, yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to competing in Great Western again and seeing how it goes, but I think Great Western also has a lot of pretty dang good players, and I don't know how much I like my odds of actually
being able to play my way into the finals again. But this was the first time I got to play Great Western at WBC in some years last year. Um, the schedule was not working very well for me in terms of Great Western when it was scheduled for the past several years. Last year, it kind of worked out. And when I say kind of, I was able to really kind of jam some of it in. This year, I agree. I think the Great Western schedule this year looks much slicker. Um, so I appreciate that. And actually, yeah, does the Great Western Finals just run straight after the semis? Oh, wow, it really does. I really like that too. Honestly, I like when the semifinals run straight in the finals. All of the people are already gathered. The GM's already there. The games are already there. Like, you don't. A lot of times you avoid this like rescheduling problem then too. Like I kind of appreciate it just running through, but leftover money is actually a house rule. Points is the only actual win. Everything else is shared. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. So leftover money is already sort of an arbitrary tiebreaker, but like it does make sense in my opinion. Like leftover money, right? Money every 5 points is already scored. But then yeah, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 more coins, fair enough. We award you the win. But yeah, so wow. So I lost 2 games on the second arbitrary tiebreak because they were so fucking close. But oh well. Again, it was a delightful. It was a really well played round of games, and Patrick smoked us all. By the way, Patrick crushed the play by email finals this year, so that was cool. But yeah, I in my head I feel I was second this year. But yeah, my results I guess in the Great Western, like I've played the online event twice, and I played WBC last year, and my results have been very good overall. And I definitely think some of that is luck, but I also think I sort of forgot that I was pretty competitive at this game. I kind of got burnt out on it during pandemic because I played it too much leading up to and at the start of pandemic on other sites, and I sort of lost my enjoyment of it. But my enjoyment has come back, but I do think it's because I've kept it at a kind of calibrated level. If I only play like maybe 1 to 2 dozen games of Great Western Trail a year now, and I think that's a really good spot for me. So I have tended to have like one async Great Western game going, or during the tournaments I have multiple, and it's been a really it's been great. So, Gonzo, have we slotted in our Arc Nova laurels yet? No, that's about to be the next. I started with the events I'm GMing, then I went to the events that I won last year, and now we gotta keep slotting things in. For you, heats are a good opportunity to get New Zealand games in since it is online. Yeah, that part is sweet. I was too much of a try-hard coward, and I just played base in order to get my wins. But I would also love to just play more New Zealand, because it is very hard to get games of that in. My home group doesn't even love Great Western. There's a few that like Great Westerns, and Great Western base is like a game that's easy enough to at this point like slot in on Tuesday nights. But New Zealand just takes so much table space, and it does take people longer because they're still learning it in my group. So it's really hard to fit it in on a weeknight at the bars that we usually meet at. So anyhow, like occasionally I can get on the weekends, but yeah, I play very little New Zealand a year, and that part's a bit sad. So but yeah, anyhow, the next event that we want to slot in is looking at where Arc Nova lands. I have been playing a bunch of Arc Nova, trying to get. I've never competed on Arc Nova at WBC, but it awards a lot of laurels, and I was curious. I finally gave it a legit shot, and I have enjoyed it way more than expected. Thank you, Gonzo, for really pushing me along with others. Um, and yeah, I mean, I've wound up playing. I've probably logged over 200 plays on BGA now since learning it last fall. Um, I've gotten up to about a 600 elo, which is yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty good at Arc Nova already, but the very best players out there are better. I don't know that the very best players are at WBC actually, but there are plenty of strong players at WBC and Arc Nova. So I think in many ways I achieved my goal. I am expecting that I will be competitive in Arc Nova at WBC, which is, for practicing 1 year, I think that's a pretty good spot to be. But the dream was that I somehow was going to show up and be like the favorite. I don't think I've achieved that dream. Uh, I think I will be. I think I'm close to being like about as good as the other best players. So I think I at least have a legit shot, but I would not give myself any particular special odds. So, but it's still fun. Anyhow, you're headed home from the gym, but maybe you'll check back in 3 to 4 hours when I'm halfway done. Yeah. Live Arc Nova is also such a different beast. Just keeping track of so much. Yeah, I do have a few live plays, and I feel like I actually think this is an area where part of why I excel at WBC. I think I'm relatively quick about making my decisions and what I'm going to do on turns, and I think that helps me be extra attentive to what my opponents are actually doing, coupled with I think I'm decent about parsing live game states. I think I game a lot in person still too, compared to some people in a year. I don't know. I'm maybe hyping myself too much, but yes, I think I'm pretty solid actually about tracking game states, even in live play. But yeah, definitely, that is a slightly tricky and real skill, I think, for some people. And Arc Nova does have a lot going on to the point where I may struggle. So, all right, we immediately see one problem. The Arc Nova quarterfinal is scheduled when I scheduled. Uh, the Arc Nova quarters is scheduled when I have a Heat of St. Petersburg scheduled. So either we need to win a bye, or I have to find somebody to cover that. I'm gonna have to find somebody to cover that St. Petersburg slot, um, which I probably can find somebody to cover that St. Petersburg heat. So, and that also assumes that I actually make the quarterfinals, which um, no guarantee at all. Um, they're good players, and there's only 2 heats, and I don't even know that I can play both heats yet. So, um, other events that I definitely want to look into: Beyond the Sun. I've made the finals in Beyond the Sun both the last 2 years, and I won the online event most recently. However, uh, I not. I really enjoyed learning Beyond the Sun and getting pretty good at it, but I think the field has caught up a lot. I think the game is still pretty good, but I don't think the game's like super deep. It falls very in the Orleans life to me. Of I enjoyed playing and learning the game quite a bit, and I still do like playing Beyond the Sun, but I don't quite love it because it doesn't engage me the same way like Agricola constantly is challenging me in new ways each game. Beyond the Sun and Orleans get a little bit samey, little bit kind of just executing the bot of moves or algorithm on some level. Um, and anyhow, I also just think that I also just think the field has caught up to me pretty significantly in the I think the field has just caught up quite significantly. Um, in terms of how competitive they are compared to me. I don't really think I have much of an edge in Beyond the Sun anymore against the other strong players. Um, I think I did kind of have an edge on many players for the last 2 years, but I think there's more and more people that are basically at my level or maybe are already better than me. And then yeah, part of why I took fourth the last 2 years is like a little bit of bad decisions and also just some really bad breaks. Once everybody gets sufficiently good, the event flips and the tech flips in Beyond the Sun really are important. And I had I had such bad luck in the Beyond the Sun finals last year. It was really sad, but oh well. But anyhow, we'll throw Beyond the Sun in the schedule again, but yeah, Beyond the Sun, I already knew that this was going to be an issue. If Beyond the Sun conflicts with both of the Arc Nova heats, so we're gonna have to really decide Arc Nova and Beyond the Sun. There is a world where I'm able to play this first heat of Beyond the Sun. I play the Beyond the Sun semis. I play this heat of Arc Nova, and I play the Arc Nova quarters. And I actually am able to play both, but they are going to be close. It paid for those Great Western flips in the Beyond the Sun. Honestly, that is pretty true. I got the best flips in Great Western that I've ever gotten in a Great Western game, basically, in order to get a win. And then I got basically the worst flips I've ever gotten in a Beyond the Sun game in those finals. So I guess, yeah, I guess it comes around. But anyhow, I'm gonna write. I mean, I put Beyond the Sun in the schedule here, but yeah, Beyond. I'm honestly weighing if I throw away Beyond the Sun this year and just focus on Arc Nova. Um, because this Beyond the Sun heat is also kind of an issue, as you can see, because there's an Agricola heat and a Great Western heat. Now, if I'm fortunate enough to win both of my first two Agricola heats, then I can actually play this Great Western heat. But otherwise, I'm probably relying on playing two Great Western heats, playing Great Western Heat 1 and Heat 3. For most of these events at WBC that have 3 heats, a lot of times you need a win and a second, something like that. A first second is usually enough. Agricola, some years first second's enough. Some years you need a third result. So Agricola, sometimes you need 2 wins. Great Western last year, first second was enough, and it sounds like traditionally first second's been enough the last several years in Great Western. But I mean, again, still getting a first second in 2 heats is still by no means a guarantee. So anyhow, Great Western's a little bit compressed already, but yeah, I don't know that I can play this Beyond the Sun heat. So yeah, it's possible that I just focus on Arc Nova this year and actually don't compete in Beyond the Sun. I've been weighing that. I don't actually know what I'm gonna pick yet, but that is a thing that is one of a bigger conflict points for me. Santa Fe Rails is an event that I have taken second overall in 3 years in a row, which I think is kind of wild. It's been really fun. I've really liked the game. I've really been enjoying playing it. It's not one I can play much, or I can't play online, but my home group does play it with me some, so that's been fun. Um, but yeah, to really get practice at the like high level tables with others has been tricky. But anyhow, I'd really like to play. I'm really hoping I could play Santa Fe again. It's been very good to me at WBC. I certainly don't think I can actually just keep making the finals year after year. But you know, maybe I can. You know, we're gonna keep giving it a go. It's I actually think I think after I sat and studied it the other day, I think the last 3 years, I don't know that I think the only games of Santa Fe that I've lost at WBC were those finals. I think I've won. I mean, I've certainly won all of my semifinals the last 3 years. But I also think I've won all my heat games the last 3 years. But Santa Fe has a good amount of luck. Like one of my heat wins last year was just disgusting. Like I had just drawn so many very good cities, and I just got to keep playing very good cities, and that makes the game a lot easier. Like there's still skill in terms of making your cities good, etc. I actually liken Santa Fe rails a decent bit to Acquire, which I think is a little bit weird, but to me, both Acquire and Santa Fe rails has this thing going on of like you randomly are pulling tiles or cards, and you only have a very limited number of tiles or cards you can play each turn. And part of the strategy of the game is figuring out kind of how to make your tiles or cards better than your opponents. And that's partly like how and when you play them, but it's partly as you're playing the game and doing the other motions of the game. I think the subtle stuff that some players miss is really figuring out how to kind of manipulate the game so that their stuff is better. I think it's easy to complain that you just have crap cards and miss the ways that you had subtle ways to make those cards feel better or look better. And I think that's a skill that I'm pretty good at in both Acquire and Santa Fe. And I think it's part of what's led me to have Santa Fe success. I also think getting lucky in Santa Fe has been very key, though. So that's where I don't want to get too high on my own horse about Santa Fe rails, but I've been finding it a lot of fun. So I also think it fits my schedule quite well. It just slotted in really nicely at the moment. The only problem with Santa Fe is that this Heat 2 of Santa Fe runs up against the Heat of Great Western. But if I'm able to play 2 heats of Santa Fe rails, I feel that gives me pretty good chances at making the Santa Fe semis. So, you know, if 2 of the heats work out, I can't ask for a lot more than that. again, ultimately, I'm a crazy person that really enjoys min-maxing their schedule to the like crazy amounts. So I'm really mostly planning to only play 2 heats of a lot of games and hoping that 2 heats is enough to make the advancement rounds. For some games, I'm gonna fall short, but on net, by giving myself more overall chances at events, I think I will make more total semifinals than super focusing on just a handful of games. In the past, I would focus a bit more on specific games that I thought I really cared about, and I did care about. I don't want to just say thought, but as I've been learning more and more WBC games and getting more and more competitive at a wider range of things, I have been kind of swayed to this Nick Henning, AJ style of even though I am quite good at Beyond the Sun or this or that, if I have to drop that, I have a big enough repertoire now that I can largely be okay with that. Is generally the thought. The acquire schedule changed quite a bit this year in terms of the schedule compression. I do think acquire might be another casualty for me of the Switch schedule, though. I think acquire is going to wind up being a bit tricky for me to run or to compete in this year. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're definitely gonna throw acquire on the schedule. And maybe it does work out, you know? Maybe it works out. Currently, it's looking pretty good, to be honest. This heat of acquire is always a mess. Heat 3, this one has not moved. This Friday night heat of acquire is tricky because in recent years I've been trying to play diplomacy, and this one conflicts with diplomacy. Um, so that could that's always a difficult choice for me the last couple years of am I going to play diplomacy at WBC or am I going to compete in other events? And I certainly don't have an answer yet. Um, I'm going to throw diplomacy on the schedule here, though. Both of the last 2 years, I have gotten a plaque in diplomacy, so that's been cool. I was second in 2024, and I was fourth last year. Um, so, admittedly, competing diplomacy has been decent for me too in terms of results. It's also just been a hell of a lot of fun, but it is a big block. It's a pretty big block, and it's late in the week. So historically, a lot of semifinals happen late in the week, which has made for a lot of conflicts. However, um, however, with this kind of compressed scheduling going on, I am a bit hopeful that it's not going to be as. I'm hoping I'm not going to conflict with as many other events because I'm hoping the schedule is going to be a little bit smoother at the end of the week than it historically has been. But there's really no guarantee. It's probably still going to be messy because a bunch of games are gonna. I mean, a bunch of games are still gonna have their rounds at the end of the week, but yeah. By the way, Patrick, I don't know how closely you're watching if you're still there. Obviously, you're gonna presumably you're gonna compete in Great Western Trail, but are there any other events you're excited for this year, or somewhat new stuff to your repertoire? You've really been kind of on a mildly similar path, I would argue, I was on when I first came to WBC of having. I came to WBC really liking like Terra Mystic and Acquire and a couple other games. And then my repertoire has really been expanding. And yeah, you kind of came in as a real specialist in Great Western, but you've really grown into a lot of games. And I know some years you pick stuff out. So I'm curious if there's anything on your radar this year that you're really excited about trying or diving into. Sort of like my Arc Nova experiment this year. Um, but yeah. Anyhow, speaking of other events that I like or have done well in, I might have thrown everything that I've gotten laurels in on the last 2 years now. Um, is that true? Might be true. Yeah, last year I made 6 final tables, and I think I've thrown them all in here. And again, I don't have to replay all the same games, but they're obviously games I enjoy and have done well at, so it's fun to throw them in. Okay, so yeah, I think we're just starting to throw in other stuff that I kind of like and or has generally worked well for my schedule. So like Stone Age, I'm expecting once again to fit in my schedule reasonably well. And indeed, like look at Stone Age, look at this Stone Age heat slotting right between the Arc Nova and Agricola games. That sure seems like a event that could work quite well for us. Monday at 21, right after. Oh no, not right after Arc Nova. Okay, so this Stone Age heat looks bad. This second Stone Age heat is unlikely that I'm playing in this. I mean, maybe I play the Beyond the Sun semis and it takes me only 2 hours, but I lose and I make the Stone Age game and I don't wind up prioritizing Arc Nova Heat 2. So no idea. And then Tuesday at 20. Okay, Tuesday at 20 looks pretty good. Unless I'm in the Great Western Finals or something. However, there is that St. Pete demo that I talked about, so I may have to get people to watch. I might have to get people to cover for me. Oh, and the Stone Age quarterfinal. This is not ideal. This is up against that Santa Fe Heat. Now, Santa Fe Rails, you often only need a single heat win to advance, so you also can sometimes get a bye through the Stone Age quarterfinals. So, I mean, it looks like Stone Age is an event that might work for me, which is kind of how it's been the last couple years, actually. Last year I did make the Stone Age semifinals, but it might not be a thing that's actually going to happen for me, but all right, what are you up for? Dan has gotten you into Imperial Struggle, a long two-player game very recently. You were kind of hoping to play, but look at it at the same time as Great Western and Russian Railroad semis, so that's sad. Oof, yeah, that is sad. Both Russian Railroads and Great Western are pretty high on your lists, or like maybe those are the like top two. I don't even know, but yeah. So for you, that's pretty much yeah. Especially when you're being asked to give up 2 games you care about, you gotta pick the two, right? You gotta pick Great Western and Russian Railroads. But yeah, that sucks that you can't then really compete in Imperial Struggle. Amon Ray seems to fit well with your schedule this year, so you might try to learn that. Ooh, yeah, speaking of Amon Ray, I was excited because I think Amon Ray is going to fit in my schedule for the first time in a couple years. Last year I got to play 1 heat, which was not enough to advance. Well, it would have been if I got a win, but I didn't. Amon Ray tends to play 5-player games, which is already hard enough. The Amon Ray field, I will also argue, is like pretty dang good. Or it's at least full of like a lot of very good players. There's not a lot. Basically, the people that are left that are playing Amon Ray are the people who have been playing Amon Ray for 2 decades or whatever and enjoy it, which is great. But it means there's a lot of people who are pretty experienced and play pretty well. There's not a lot of slouches, so that makes it hard to advance. But yeah, let's look at Amon Ray. I agree. I think Amon Ray fits my schedule much better than it has in recent years, and I am very excited about that and hoping to play some Amon Ray. This first Amon Ray heat looks amazing. This looks so good. I mean, I'll have to see what else is in this time slot, but like, if I was planning to do this Beyond the Sun Great Western start to my day, which I'm pretty likely running this Amon Ray heat right before all of that seems great. Amon Ray heat 2 at 20. Now this is obviously no good for me. Conflicting with the Agricola semis. I mean, again, if I don't make the Agricola semis, I guess it's nice to have the fallback option. And again, one of these years, like every year, some good player does not make the Agricola semifinals because there's too many very good players. So somebody has to be left out. But hopefully it's not me yet. But Amon Ray Heat 3, this looks like, I mean, again, we're going to keep throwing a lot of games into the schedule. But Heat 3 of Amon Ray, that looks pretty good. And then the Amon Ray semifinal at 23. I don't love this. Starting semifinals at 11 is annoying, but oh well. Also, I can't complain that loudly because I'm doing the same thing with Moon Colony Bloodbath. Although I will argue that Moon Colony Bloodbath is basically an hour-long game or 75-minute game, whereas Amon-Ra is almost certainly a 2-hour game, especially in the semifinal round. So having to stay up till 1 a.m. is annoying, but it also fits the schedule. So I mean, I am excited that Amon-Ra fits the schedule, but I yeah, I don't love scheduling stuff till 1 a.m. But I do like events that are getting their semifinals out during these first 3 days, though. Like I am glad that some events have taken to this. Yeah, really move up early in the week and knock it out. Like Beyond the Sun, Amon-Ra, Agricola, like getting it done. Five Tribes, I believe, is also scheduled that way, but because of all the other events I care about, I think Five Tribes is dead for me this year. But let's go check that in a sec. Better than starting them sharp at 9 a.m. See, yeah, that's the problem. Um, that's the thing. I love me the 9 a.m. We'll note that St. Pete. We'll note that St. Pete has some 9 a.m. shit going on, and actually, I guess technically Moon Colony, because if it's continuous, it goes right over. Look at the GM that's just running crap at 9 a.m. Who would do that? Uh, for what it's worth, my argument has been though that if you're allowed to keep me up till 1 a.m., I should be allowed to get to start scheduling shit at 8 a.m. That's my opinion. Like, to me, the WBC core hours are basically 9 a.m. to midnight. If you get to keep me up till 1, I should get to start scheduling shit at 8 a.m. Like, I'm ready at 8 a.m. I'm not very ready at midnight, but alas. But yeah, Amon-Ra looks like it's probably gonna work. It looks like I can play 2 heats of Amon-Ra and the semis. So again, giving myself 2 heats, getting 2 chances at a game is mostly what I ask for nowadays. Um, if all 3 heats work out, that's cool, but that's hard when I want to play so many games. And speaking of wanting to play so many games, I want to play 5 Tribes, but I suspect 5 Tribes is just going to completely fall off my schedule this year. Which is sad because that means that it's probably like I'm going to be one less player for some heats, which means it's going to be that much harder for 5 Tribes to be a Sentry event, which means it's less likely it comes back. But also, I guess if I'm not prioritizing and playing it, that's kind of the whole point of the Sentry. Things, if they're not pulling players, they get pulled from the event. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty into Great Western at this point, so it's unlikely I'm going to pick 5 Tribes. I'm very into Agricola. Pretty unlikely I'm picking 5 Tribes. First Sunday at 13. First Sunday at 13. Okay, so 1 heat of 5 Tribes does look like it could work. 1 heat of 5 Tribes is probably not enough to make semis, but maybe is. Maybe is. So, like, Monday at 21? Ugh, so Monday at 21 is kind of a mess too, though, right? Like, if I'm in the Beyond, I mean, or if I'm playing Arc Nova, like, I mean, I put 5 Tribes on the schedule. So 5 Tribes, I at least threw it on here for now, but I might pull 5 Tribes off and just accept it doesn't work. We'll see. But yeah, so 5 Tribes might be a casualty for me. Thinking of some other games that have shifted a bit, though, Egizia shifted a lot this year. They are running a very much back of the week schedule, and I'm excited for that. I think Andrew has scheduled Egizia in a pretty sweet spot. I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna do well for the event, but I could be wrong. We're all gonna find out. But it's much more Egizia has always been a bit compressed. But again, I kind of love like this more compressed scheduling. I think it's good for everybody. I think it means there's a few. I'm hoping it means there's a few more heats later in the week instead of everybody trying to not schedule their heats late in the week because there's so many semifinals that GMs care about. I'm hoping it means that there's a few more events that people can just go play and enjoy later in the week. So this Egizia Heat 3 doesn't fully work for me if I'm playing Diplomacy. I can't play this Heat of Egizia, but it looks like the other 2 Heats of Egizia probably are going to work for me. And then yeah, this having something to do Sunday morning, I'm kind of excited for. I've just been playing Race for the Galaxy the last couple of years on Sunday morning. Um which is fine, but um I kind of like the Segizia semifinal there. So um anyhow, yeah, it looks like Agizia will probably work. Now, while I do enjoy Agizia, and I'm looking forward to competing again, I have never made the Agizia final table, and it's because Agizia also has so many very good players. But all right, some other events that have historically been late in the week that often work in my schedule. We got Concordia going on. Um, Concordia is just running 2 heats again. It looks like Concordia is running basically like it has for the last several years, which means it kind of works for me, kind of doesn't. The issue for Concordia is that I probably can play this first heat, but then the only way that I'm going to play the second heat of Concordia is if I skip Diplomacy, which maybe this is the year that I skip Diplomacy, right? Maybe we drop Diplomacy so that I can pick up these other heats of things. Um, Maybe. We'll see. Also, it depends on when the semifinal is, right? Is the Concordia semifinal at a good time? Saturday at 15? That seems good. Yeah, Saturday at 15 is a good time. This is very historical. This is like directly how the schedule has looked for a couple of years now. But yeah, I did make the Concordia final 1 year, but I don't know how good I am at Concordia. But I enjoy it. So, and it kind of fits the schedule, which is all we can really ask for. Speaking of games that sometimes kind of fit the schedule, Puerto Rico, and that I kind of enjoy. Thursday at 15. So Thursday at 15, we noticed the Arc Nova semifinals right there. So, I mean, ideally I'm playing Arc Nova semis, but obviously that's, far from guaranteed. But yeah, this is why Puerto Rico often doesn't work for me, is we start running into Diplomacy and just other semifinals late in the week. But admittedly, the other semifinals thing maybe is less of an issue this year. Yeah, the other semis might be less of an issue, but um, even this looks messy now too. Of like, if I am trying to play Puerto Rico and Agizia, well, I guess the upshot is if I don't play Diplomacy this year, I mean, it does look like I could play the. Well, who knows on Puerto Rico? Although I said I only need 2 heats of most things. Hopefully, I don't need the third heat of Agizia, I guess. Anyhow, it looks like Puerto Rico is another one of these things that, like, maybe fits the schedule. Maybe it works out, um, but deeply, deeply unknown. Um, But yeah, I mean, overall, this is already like pretty. We got most of the days. We got some stuff most of the days already, and like I would be just this list of games does get me excited for WBC. Like playing St. Pete, Moon Colony Bloodbath, Agricola, Great Western Trail, Arc Nova, Beyond the Sun, Santa Fe Rails, Acquire, Diplomacy, Stone Age, Amon Ray, Agizia, Concordia, Puerto Rico. Like if that's what I play for the week, and that's what I'm playing most of the days, and that takes up most of my time. I mean, that sounds like a good week. That is taking up most of the time here. Like like most of these blocks, I could just play those events, and I would be good. So, I'm gonna keep looking at a handful of other things because why not? And we gotta we'll someday eventually look at all these backup options and have all these considerations. But yeah, this is kind of how I build my schedule. I kind of throw all the core stuff in, kind of keep throwing stuff in that works, and then I just kind of start checking other things. So like in terms of checking other stuff, like Orleans is an event I'm very take it or leave it. I used to GM it. I did win it 1 year. I still kind of like the game, but as I said, I'm a little less excited than I used to be, but like let's look, let's throw it in the count. Let's look at the schedule at least. Like if the blocks work out, like all right, so yeah, here's one issue. Orleans being up against Puerto Rico and Arc Nova. So, I mean, again, good to have options, but who the heck knows? Although Orleans did reschedule itself so that you only need one heat of Orleans nowadays to make the semifinals. So that part's nice, but oof, conflicting with Egizia, that's a bummer. So like, yeah, this is where it looks tough of like, am I actually going to prioritize Orleans? Saturday at 19. That was where Puerto Rico was too, right? Yeah. So I mean, I guess I do sort of like when events. I do kind of like events that like counter schedule against each other. Like if I'm already gonna have to pick between Orleans and Puerto Rico, like you may as well just make the semifinals block off each other too. Like whatever. But just work through your schedule. You've got 18 games that I could probably try on my list and 10 that probably don't work, but I listed for myself anyway. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I'm about to do, right? Like, I'm probably not actually picking Orleans. And indeed, I'm going to throw Orleans in the, probably isn't working. But, like, whatever. We just start having backup options, especially later in the week. Who the hell knows where we're at? But I'm probably not going to play Orleans again this year, which is kind of a bummer because I've been away enough that I'm sort of warming up on the idea of like trying my hand at competing again. I like that they switched to 3-player heats too. Although I guess does that mean only one win was required to make the semis though? Because now if you're at 3-player tables, you probably have more winners. I guess to be determined. By to be determined, I can just ask AJ some questions and or go read the event report. Speaking of other games we should look at, let's look at Seven Wonders. I have not played Seven Wonders at WBC in years because it historically does not work in my schedule very well. So let's pay attention. The Seven Wonders quarterfinal and semis is 14 and 16. So that means that it goes directly over Arc Nova or Beyond the Sun. So yeah, I mean, I like Seven Wonders, but the advancement rounds means that I have to drop the one Arc Nova heat I can make or a Beyond the Sun heat. So neither of those sound smart. And then all the heats start to bleed into Great Western and Agricola, like all of them. That first heat just conflicts with Beyond the Sun. But anyhow, I mean, we're just going to accept that Seven Wonders, despite my enjoyment of Seven Wonders, one of these years I'd love to be able to actually compete in it at WBC, but that schedule no good, no bueno for me. I will be picking things like Beyond the Sun and Great Western over Seven Wonders if given the choice. Partly out of enjoyment and partly out of my silly quest for laurels. I trust my. I feel those games have a slightly more meaningful skill edge than the Seven Wonders field, but who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But you think people would enjoy Orleans so much more if the base game came with the extra place tile, so it was variable setup, not the same every time? Your people. I broadly agree with you, Patrick. I do think I think a decent amount of my complaint with the game is just how routine it is. I mean, it's a lot. I think it sort of loops into my complaint with Caverna. Like you start to play and you start to figure out the game, and during those plays it's kind of fun. But once you've kind of worked out some of the best combos, you're just executing those again, and like there's a bit of player interaction, but there's not a ton. Um, and so yeah, it's just I'm with you that being able to be a bit creative with the play styles would be better. Even then, I sort of think Orleans needs even more than that for me nowadays. I have thought about this of like if I was to recreate Orleans, what I would do, and I don't fully have it worked out to be fair, but I really love the base concept of Orleans, the bag builder and the action selection stuff. But yeah, it feels it needs a little bit more either interaction or variability in the puzzle or what's going on. But yeah, the extra playstyles alone would help quite a bit. So if they just sold some extra playstyles in the base boxes, I agree. I think that would help a good bit. I actually think having 13 of each in the market is also kind of too many. Um, Although I do think another slight problem with Orleans is the fact that, sort of like Caverna, the other reason the game's a little bit iffy to me is like some of the tiles are just balanced so horribly. Like some of them are just garbage. Like the sacristy is just garbage. The hayrick is just consistently garbage. Like it is just not worth investing in. So, um, yeah, I also wish there was a few more tiles that like were meaningful and did stuff. I think that would help a lot. And to be fair, I think the expansion tiles do help with that though, right? So, but anyhow, that's a long way of saying that's not what WBC is playing. So, yeah, I don't really care. I did do pretty well in the play by email. I think I still am capable of playing Orleans at a high level, but I think a lot of other people are nowadays too. And yeah, it just doesn't really work in my schedule particularly well. Um, Realistically, I probably want to play diplomacy. It looks like diplomacy fits my schedule well enough that I probably play diplomacy. It's a little tricky because like if one heat of Concordia is enough, and if I can win these Agizia heats, so I don't need to play Heat 3, and if I can qualify for Acquire somehow earlier in the week, it looks really slick to just play these diplomacy heats along with Concordia, Acquire, and Agizia late in the week, rather than trying to jam in like Orleans. But I don't know. We'll we have some weeks and time to figure that out. So, all right. Sometime I have to just go through this list instead of just going off the top of my head. But I'm kind of just scrolling through to see if there's anything that I particularly enjoy or have enjoyed in prior years that I'm forgetting about that I might want to throw on here. Oh, I didn't throw the late night events on here yet. I should do that. Um, I've been enjoying brass a lot in general. I'm pretty sure the brass schedule just like does not work for me. So, I mean, I will pull it up here in a sec. That's about the only game thus far that's really jumped out at me of like, ooh, I would be excited to get to try that in the WBC schedule though. There's a bunch of stuff I enjoy. I'm scrolling through a bunch of games. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock. I do enjoy a lot of these games. Oh, Navigador. Navigador is something I've enjoyed quite a bit. I should see if that fits in the schedule this year. I had to drop Navigador the last couple of years, um, because it did not work in my schedule. But uh, Through the Ages is another game that I should look up the schedule for at least. Oh, Vegas Showdown. Oh my god, guys, we forgot Vegas Showdown. There we go. This is why we scroll through. Okay. Vegas Showdown critical. Critical's a stretch, but Vegas Showdown is a game I really do just genuinely enjoy. It's a good time. I like playing it, and it did go well for me last year too. I took third overall, which was cool. But yeah, I definitely want to see if Vegas Showdown fits the schedule, and my recollection is that it fits the schedule pretty well. That first heat of Vegas Showdown looks like it fits very well. The second heat, admittedly, does not look like it's going to work. I'm hoping to be playing Great Western, but I guess there's some world where I've already bombed out of Great Western because I've just played so poorly. Like maybe I bombed this heat of Great Western Trail and I have to play the Heat 3 of Agricola, and then I decide to just play Santa Fe and Vegas Showdown rather than like hoping for a win and hoping like one win in a fourth place is enough to make the semifinals. Like maybe. But probably, hopefully, not playing Heat 2 of Vegas Showdown. But ooh, look at that gap. Look at that gap. Look at Vegas Showdown going right between all these events. Gotta love that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, now where is the Vegas Showdown semis? Oh, look at this. Look at this event just falling beautifully. Just absolutely freaking beautifully. Gorgeous. All right. Vegas Showdown slides right into some gaps. The semifinals and the heats. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We get to play Vegas Showdown at WBC. That's great news. I very much enjoy the game. Looking forward to it. Glad that that one doesn't really have conflicts. I mean, again, one heat conflicting is that's kind of why there's three heats. Like, you kind of need to play two heats for actually Vegas Showdown. You only need one win in Vegas Showdown because they'll take 25 players into the semis because the game plays well at five, so they will do 5 tables of 5 players. So historically, one win is enough. So actually, you only need to play one heat, but I mean, again, getting a win is tough. So having two heats, having two chances at least to get a win is welcome. Plus, whatever. I genuinely just want to play the game. So, all right, let's see if Brass slides in at all. Brass being 3 hours is tough. Brass being 3 hours is tough, and it usually is scheduled over a bunch of stuff I care about. So I'm probably not putting it on the schedule, but so yeah, so the first Brass heat would mean that I have to give up a Vegas Showdown and a Santa Fe Rails heat. That's tough. That's a tough ask. Brass at 9 on Wednesday. So now I'm giving up St. Pete or Arc Nova. That's not going to happen. Thursday at 9, I'm giving up St. Pete and Vegas Showdown semis. Again, that's probably not happening. And then Thursday at 20, if I somehow, despite just saying that I'm playing none of those three heats, if in some world I qualify for the Brass semifinals despite not playing Brass, I would have to give up both Moon Colony Bloodbath heats that I'm running. So it appears that this is another year I will not be playing Brass at WBC, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that is just way too many conflicts. There is just no way that that's happening. So yeah, so we knocked that right off. What was the one other game that I said that I wanted to check while going through the schedule? There was I checked Brass, then I ran into something else, and then I ran into Vegas Showdown and forgot everything. What was in the middle that I kind of Navigador. Navigador is the other thing that I kind of care about. It has not worked well in my schedule for a couple years though. So Navigador Saturday at 11. Okay, let's look at that. Saturday at 11 is Diplomacy, but nothing else. So if I gave up Diplomacy, could I compete in Navigador? Let's find out. Thursday at 17, Navigador. Thursday at 17. So ideally, I'm in the Arc Nova semis, but I don't have anything in that slot currently. So Thursday 17 looks good. Tuesday 14. Now that does not sound good. That sounds like that Vegas Showdown heat, right? Or no, it's actually right there. It's against Santa Fe and Great Western, so I mean that's not good. And then first Sunday at 15. This is annoying. Come on, Chad. Why are we dragging an event from first Sunday but running the playoffs on Saturday? Stop doing this, GMs. Stop doing this. It's part of what causes the frickin' all-week backups that we have and why there are no heats on Saturday. Anyhow, unfortunately, Navigador still looks kind of rough. Now, Navigador is a small enough event. I do think one heat win usually gets you into the semifinal, especially because it's so dragged out during the week that a lot of times some people are not going to show up to the semifinals anyhow. But this first Sunday, I mean, I can't fathom picking Navigador over Arc Nova or Beyond the Sun for me. So, I mean, I'm going to put it here, but this heat is just never happening for me. And then this heat, the second heat, is pretty low odds. I would have to have already played 2 Great Western heats, and I would have to already have a Santa Fe Rails win for me to be picking Navigador here. But, I mean, I guess there is some world where I played Navigador in that slot. But this Navigador slot Thursday at 17, I mean, I do think there's a shot that I'm playing this Navigador heat And because one heat is maybe enough for Navigador, I mean, I'm going to put it on the schedule. Um, and like that may dictate if I decide if I'm playing diplomacy or not. Because like if I know I'm in the Navigador semifinals, maybe it makes sense to like skip diplomacy or at least skip round 2 of diplomacy. I have done that in recent years. I've played 2 of the 3 diplomacy rounds, which is all you actually need to play in order to. You only have to actually play in. You only have to play 2 of the 3 diplomacy rounds in order to um, potentially or to you could sorry, they just take your best 2 rounds out of 3. So if you play all 3 rounds, you just give yourself better chances. But um, two rounds is you can win the whole event off 2 rounds of play. So um, but but yeah, probably another year that I'm not really playing Navigador, which is kind of a bummer. But again, I mean, GMs have different goals on what games they care about, and Chad doesn't really care about Arc Nova or Beyond the Sun or Great Western or Santa Fe Rails, so it's just unfortunate for me because that crossover is a bummer. But yeah, I also really dislike this scheduling. This is very old school scheduling of an event. Like, we have a Navigador heat, and then we take a day break, and then we have a Navigador heat, and then we break for a day, and then we have a Navigador heat, and then we break for a day, and then we finally do the semifinals. Like, the only people that can compete at Navigador are the people that are here the entire week, which, like, is a lot of us to be fair, but I think it would be better as an organization if our stuff was more compressed on average. I think being spread out so far is not good. And again, I just to rant a little, I think it's part of why the end of the week have so many semifinals is sort of events like this. Like, you could easily run a few heats earlier in the week and run your semifinal and be done. Or if you're going to choose to run your semifinal late in the week on like Saturday and stuff, you're one of the few events that can actually justify scheduling your heats on like Friday and shit. And to not do that is kind of annoying. Like I do think our schedule's still a little too front loaded nowadays, and I think more GMs should backslide the schedule a bit. But admittedly, I'm one of the people that keeps saying GM should do this, but I'm a GM that doesn't do it. And the major reason I keep not doing it is because of diplomacy. Diplomacy always annoyingly is kind of scheduled this final weekend because there are a decent number of players that only show up to the con for diplomacy, and making it on the weekend is better for them, and so on and so forth. So I understand why the diplomacy folks do that, but it means that I personally every year am very hesitant to like just accept that I'm going to throw diplomacy out and just schedule right over it. But I do realize how few heats there are later in the week for a lot of players, and I would like to see more GMs be a bit better about scheduling heats late in the week. Um, which on that front, again, big kudos to big kudos to Andrew Emmerich, who has absolutely scheduled a Gizia late in the week. Um, absolutely has kind of slid in there. AJ has slid Orleans pretty late in the week here. We got some late Orleans heats going on. So there's a few that have absolutely um, kind of shifted a bit, but okay. So I'm gonna look at a couple more things, but I'm probably gonna be wrapping this up somewhat soon. I say that, and yet I could easily go another God knows how long, but I am going to look at Through the Ages. My belief is that I probably am done playing Through the Ages at WBC, and yet every once in a while I talk myself into playing Through the Ages at WBC, so we're going to at least put it out there. I have had some success at Through the Ages in the past. I have a Through the Ages plaque, not a first place plaque, but I have a plaque. I do enjoy Through the Ages, but I don't love Through the Ages like I once did. The field is also really competitive, which that's not a great reason to not play an event, because part of the fun is playing strong opponents. But I just don't. I don't know. I struggle to like super care. Now, with that said, through the ages semifinal sure does look really nice Monday morning because I got nothing else going on yet. I'll have to see what other events are on offer Monday morning, but the fact the semifinals right there looks really good. But the second heat of Through the Ages looks really bad because of Agricola. And then this first heat of Through the Ages looks rough too because I think I really do want to play Amon Ray this year. And giving myself only this third heat of Amon Ray is a bit sad. It also means I'd be giving up this Beyond the Sun heat, but I mean, I've already talked about just throw away all these Beyond the Suns and just focus on the Arc Novas anyhow. So, I mean, sometimes I make different versions of my schedule. This is a tough one because it's literally day one. The first decision I have to make is which path I go down. But where's the Laurels per hour chart from last year? We're hiding that. We never that was never meant to be seen by anybody. Um, I also, to be clear, I think the Laurels per hour is like a relatively bad metric for all sorts of reasons, and I think chasing Laurels that hard is a mistake. Um, but yeah. Um, but yeah, this Through the Ages thing looks like one of the bigger decision points for me because it looks like I could play Through the Ages, try to play Through the Ages Heat 1 and the semifinal. And it would mean throwing away one Amon Ray heat and completely throwing away Beyond the Sun. But completely throwing away Beyond the Sun opens up double Arc Nova heats. And opening up double Arc Nova heats means that I might be able to get that direct buy, and it certainly makes it much more likely I make the quarterfinals. And I do really want to try to compete in Arc Nova this year, so giving myself only the one Arc Nova heat and competing in Beyond the Sun, having to compete in the Arc Nova quarters, it's interesting, right? I make my chances at Arc Nova less to give myself a shot at Beyond the Sun, or I give myself a shot at Through the Ages by making my Amon Ray shots a little bit worse, and I throw away Beyond the Sun completely. That's honestly, I don't totally know. I don't know what actually I'll decide or what makes the most sense. Part of what I'm also looking at, and I double Arc Nova heats. That's 8.7 expected Laurels right there. Ah, Lubin can run the math for me. Okay, that's good. No, I mean, right? Like, I mean, basically, assuming I win Arc Nova Heat 1, right? Which, who the hell knows? But Arc Nova Heat 2 essentially becomes a quarterfinal at that point. So, I mean, giving myself two chances at the quarterfinals is like quite a bit better odds than giving myself one chance at the quarterfinals. But I don't know. Throw it away Beyond the Sun is like a little bit wild because like I certainly have chances of winning Beyond the Sun, and that would be a good chunk of laurels. Uh, Anyhow, the other thing that I look at the schedule is like occasionally you look at the schedule and you start like figuring out where you can also potentially like get away with things. Not that I should in any way plan on this, but I definitely remember Carl last year. Carl played his Through the Ages game just fast enough that he absolutely went from Through the Ages Heat 1 into Beyond the Sun Heat 1 in the exact same time frame last year. And like, I remember last year having a 2-hour heat of Great Western Trail, so I was able to run into something at 11, which, like, this heat of Great Western Trail, maybe, if I don't have to play Heat 3 of Agricola, which the last several years I've not had to because I already have 2 wins. Now, again, I've been very fortunate. That's not that likely. But if I'm in that scenario again where I can play Great Western in a 2-hour block, there are some worlds where I actually do get to sneak in this Beyond the Sun anyhow. So, in a world where I just win everything and somehow the games go, perfectly for my quick scheduling, there is a world where I play Through the Ages and Beyond the Sun and Arc Nova if I just win everything. Now, that's absurd. Winning everything at WBC is really freaking hard. So, but every once in a while, you got to dream big, right? So I don't know. I genuinely did not think I was playing Through the Ages at WBC, but the fact that I just have nothing on the Monday morning right now, um, it's tempting. The Through the Ages life might happen. Um, let's finally look at the schedule proper. Actually, what else would I do Monday morning? I've not even gone at it this direction yet, but let's go. Monday morning, what do we got? We got some demos. I don't care about that. Africa Core. One of these days, I would love to go play crazy war games and just see what that life's about, but that's not currently me. Air Baron, I don't think that's necessarily a war game, but I'm not playing Air Baron. Azul. Now, I will have to check how Azul looks in the schedule. I'm pretty sure I know the answer. I'm pretty sure Azul's advancement rounds do not work for me. But I do kind of like Azul. I would not be sad about playing an Azul heat. I just don't think I could play the advancement round. More war games, Battles of the American Revolution, Bitterwoods. I'm not playing those. Empire Builder, I kind of like Empire Builder, but I've never competed in Empire Builder. I don't plan to compete in Empire Builder. 4-hour heats are really rough, and that means that it's a 4-hour semifinal, which I'm not. It's almost impossible for that to fit into my schedule. Heat Pedal to the Metal. I don't really like Heat that much, but again, I guess I should check what the semifinal for Heat is, because I could play Heat. Although I really should not play Heat, right? This is this classic, like, I thought I learned my lesson of not playing games that I don't really enjoy at WBC just because I maybe could win laurels. Like, I should stop doing that. Jack Wolf running the event, though. Thank you. Kudos. I'm glad Jack has stepped up to be a GM. WBC needs more good GMs. Jack should do a good job. So, Kremlin. I could just play Kremlin for fun Monday morning. I did play one for funsy Kremlin game last year. I will say, played Kremlin when there's slight stakes on the line and with people I don't know as well. It was both fun to meet some people I don't know as well and ham it up, but I also think I enjoy Kremlin with friends more, was what I learned. So I don't know that I'll pick that, but I don't know that I'm throwing it out. I have never played Power Grid at WBC because, well, partly it's never worked in my schedule well, and partly I think I'm a mediocre Power Grid player. I do like the game, though, so there's Root. I mean, there is a lot happening Monday morning, to be honest. This is a lot of options. Squad Leader and the Russian campaign, like tons of war games going on. Thunder Alley going on. I don't like Thunder Alley. I will not be playing Thunder Alley. Twilight Struggle tournament starts. Victory in the Pacific and Waterloo and Wooden Ships are all going on. There's semifinals for 18xx. Wow, Monday morning is packed. Like, where are all these events fitting in? I mean, I'm sure the schedule is worked out, but holy smokes. Monday morning has some games. 10 o'clock, I do kind of like Sekigahara. I don't really care for Splendor. And then Monday at 11, what's starting? A Seven Wonders Duel heat. Okay, I've not looked at Seven Wonders Duel. I do kind of like Seven Wonders Duel. I would not mind playing Seven Wonders Duel. I like Hoity Toity, a Delver Flecht. I genuinely would play a Delver Flecht. I would genuinely play Ticket to Ride. So it does look like Monday at 11 has some heats that I actually kind of enjoy. But Monday morning, Monday at 9 really does not have anything for me. Like, there's really not an alternative game that I like. I guess Azul. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm gonna wrap this up soon because I think this part of the schedule game gets less and less exciting. But it does look like Monday morning Through the Ages semi would be really cool to qualify for. Now, I will say, last year I played a heat of Through the Ages? Maybe it was already 2 years ago. It must have already been 2 years ago.
But like, I tried to play a heat at Through the Ages, and I did not get a win. Last year, AJ did not get a win in his heat and had to play another heat. And so AJ gave up on Agricola last year, for example, because he knew he was going to prioritize Through the Ages over Agricola. Now, I'm not going to do that. But basically, I guess, yeah, like, just because I play this Through the Ages heat, in no way means that I actually am going to make the freaking semifinal. So, um, that part's a little awkward in that I have to make a decision right up front, and like I partly would be picking the Through the Ages heat in order to make it so that I have more productive things to do Monday morning. But maybe I just don't. Maybe I just don't care. You know, a better answer might just be to stick with the games that I was excited about playing, that I could finally play Amon Ray, and that I still can get a Beyond the Sun heat so that I can decide what I'm doing. Um, I can play this Beyond the Sun heat, by the way, and still, even if I get a win or whatever, I still don't have to play the Beyond the Sun semis. Like, it might be better for me to just play Arc Nova. It just depends on how. Yeah, I guess it depends on how much I really want to play into my Arc Nova chances, but throw away Beyond the Sun, which is a game that's been pretty good to me. And I don't know. I'm very conflicted on that front still. Um, yeah. So. But overall, I'm really excited for this year's WBC. I'm quite excited. The schedule's quite good. Oh wow, I finally have a chat bot. That's sort of exciting. It's been a while. Oh, you guys don't even see him probably. I don't think. I think my settings mean that he doesn't show up. But it's been a while since I've had a spammer try to sell me followers. I'm not enough of a streamer anymore, but yeah, anyhow, I'm really excited about WBC on the whole. The schedule looks pretty dang good for me this year, actually, though. Like, even though we're saying the edges are pretty rough, not pretty rough. I mean, there's always going to be conflicts because there's so many games I want to play at WBC. Despite the fact that there's over 100 hours here, of games, I want to play 200 hours of games, right? Like, I just can't compete in all the games that I want to. So, like, there's always going to be conflicts, but it looks like I can pretty cleanly, like, play a bunch of heats the first day that I care about, and I can, like, assuming the week goes really well and that I'm winning a bunch of my heats and I'm making semifinals, like, I could be playing the Agricola semifinals. I could be playing. Let's suppose that I am going to play the Arc Nova quarters, but like I played in the Agricola semis, I play in the Beyond the Sun semis, I play in the Amon Ray semis, I can play in the Great Western semis. I would have to be playing the Arc Nova quarter here, but I could be playing the Santa Fe semis. I still can play the St. Pete semis, even if I have to play the Arc Nova quarter, because I still have 2 other St. Pete heats that would work. I could be in the Vegas semifinals. I could be in the Stone Age semis. I could be in the Arc Nova semis if all those quarterfinals work out. I could be in the Moon Colony semis. I could play Diplomacy. And then it gets a little fuzzy here at the end of the week. Because to make the Concordia semis, I could only have the one Concordia heat, so like maybe that works, but who knows? The Acquire semis probably are not going to work in the world that I just described, because in that world I've played Acquire Heat 1, but I've not played this heat of Acquire because of Stone Age, and I've not played this heat of Acquire because of Diplomacy. So, I mean, Concordia semis, Agizia semis. I mean, that still is like 12 semifinals plus Diplomacy, in a week. If it somehow goes obscenely well, that'd be incredible. That'd be so fantastic. I mean, that's not going to actually happen. I'm not going to do that well. But, if I can hit on like 2/3 of those events so that I somehow make like 8 semifinals plus Diplomacy, that could be an insanely good week. I mean, That's actually what my week was last year. I made 8 semifinals last year, plus played a diplomacy. I just had wildly good semifinal fortunes overall last year, and so yeah, I made 6 finals plus diplomacy, and yeah, that got me to 3rd overall on the Laurel chart. So I mean, it looks like another schedule that, again, my main goal is like find a bunch of games that I'm fun and excited about, and try to min max my schedule that I have a shot at being in the console running. I think this schedule gives me a pretty strong shot at being in the console running, and at least at the potential. Like there's a lot that has to go right to freaking win console. You gotta have the best luck in the year, or the best play with the best luck, like however you want to view it. But this schedule gives me the opportunity to have that type of highlight year that I've been enjoying chasing and playing for. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it looks really good for me overall. It does look a little messy for my GMing efforts. I am going to have to definitely reach out and plan with some friends about this demo for St. Petersburg, because I really am going to want to play the Stone Age heat. So I'm going to have to work on this St. Pete demo, or I'm going to have to message Ken and see if that St. Pete demo can't be scheduled like earlier in the day on Tuesday. But my guess is that a lot of people wanted those Tuesday slots during the demo or wanted the demo slots during Tuesday. Although there's only 2 demos currently Tuesday morning. 3 demos there, 3 demos. Okay, there's no demos during the annual meeting, which I did not put the annual meeting on the block yet, 11:15. Okay. I do like going to the annual meeting. I go every year. I care about the organization as a whole that runs this con that I love so much, and yeah, I just like being there, and not that there's even that much direct participation, but I don't know. To me, it's sort of important to go there and see what happens, and be aware of the organization as a whole. But then, 3 demos at noon. Only 1 demo at 13. So yeah, actually, I probably can ask Ken to move that demo just earlier into Tuesday, and I could just demo Tuesday at 13 right before games start at 2 o'clock. Like, one other demo going on in the room is not going to be a problem. Demoing St. Petersburg against Britannia also feels very safe. The crossover St. Petersburg Britannia players is my friend Dan, who's not making it this year. He made it last year, but I don't know that there's other crossover between St. Pete and Britannia players, to be honest. There might be, there's we're all unique people, and honestly, I kind of enjoy Britannia. One of these years, I could be a St. Pete and Britannia player, but anyhow, I think demoing. I think I will probably message Ken and see if I can't just move the demo. That way I can do the demo myself, instead of... I can run the demo myself without having to have somebody else do it, because I genuinely don't know who else I'm going to get to pick that up. But then I will also need to make sure that somebody else can run this St. Petersburg heat in case I'm in the Arc Nova quarters, which I might be. But I anticipate that should be relatively doable, because at the very least, I can still be there to set up a lot of stuff. I can get the heat relatively set up, and I just kind of need other people to run it. That should be pretty easy to achieve. There's also a shot there in the same room, which would make it a lot easier. It's another thing worth checking out, though. Wednesday morning, where are both of those events happening? The St. Petersburg is going to be in seasons, and the Arc Nova quarterfinals are also in seasons. Yeah, fantastic. That makes it so easy. I'm even in the room that way if I'm playing the quarterfinals. Like, even if there's some crazy ruling question or oddity, I'm not that far away. The Arc Nova event is in a 4-hour block, right? Or 3-hour block? It's in a 3-hour block, but whatever. The point is, yeah, that's pretty fortunate. So anyhow, yeah, this is not much of a conflict, at least. But yeah, my GMing efforts are. Well, the good thing about my GMing efforts this year is I do have it. My GMing efforts are confined to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm done with GMing. Now, I mean, that's a decent amount of work still, but it's not horrible. It's not. In previous years, I've spread it out a bit too much. I do like it a little more compressed, but yeah, I definitely want to get to be in a one event GM, and I don't want to be doing GM in St. Pete anymore. So there's that. But yeah, the only other stuff then, there is often a BPA after action meeting that I also like to go to. I should find that. It's usually Saturday morning. Usually, again, just kind of the BPA board and others are just kind of talking about any feedback or immediate things that happened at WBC. Indeed, it is Saturday morning again at 8 o'clock. I just like. I like going to that too and finding out what's up. I have not yet done it, but WBC relies on volunteers to step up and be on the board of directors for this organization that runs WBC. And board members have to put in some time to help make sure the organization is planned out and make sure things are happening and to give feedback and direction. And it's genuine work, and I really appreciate the people that have stepped up and ran in the past and have worked and have done it. This year, only 3 people are running for the 3 open seats. Ken, our convention director, Ken Gutermuth, Andrew Drummond, who's been the board secretary and, in my opinion, has been doing an excellent job, and Nick Henning, who I think has also done an excellent job in his first term. I think the 3 of them, I think the 3 of them really embody the organization in different ways, and I don't know that it's. I think it's a little sad nobody else is running against them. I probably should have thrown my hat in the ring just so that there was somebody running. But anyhow, I have considered running for a while. I think it's pretty likely I'm going to step up to run next year. I think this year at WBC, I'm actually likely to kind of prod people or at least ask questions of like if people would consider voting for me, and probably ask people for like their contact info so I could reach out to them next year and remind them when voting is happening. But yeah, I think I genuinely will step up to try to be a board member for WBC or BPA in the next election cycle. So anyhow, yeah, partly I go to these meetings just because I kind of enjoy them and I kind of want to be there anyhow. But especially as like a somewhat aspiring board member too, I think just kind of knowing some of what happens and knowing some of what's expected for some of these board members is also worthwhile to continue to get a better idea. I'm reasonably good friends too with like Andrew and Nick and AJ, and I've been able to ask those and Andy Lotto, being able to ask all of them some of how their experience on the board was and kind of how they're enjoying it and how they're feeling, and even like Marcy and Lori, yeah, being able to just get some insight from folks on kind of how their time on the board has gone and how they feel about it all and yada yada. I hope to have a few more conversations with some of them to get those insights down. But yeah, anyhow, I think I'll probably run. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to WBC as a whole, though. It's my favorite convention. If anybody ever has questions about the event, please reach out. Please talk. I do love it. I likely will be throwing this whole unedited video on YouTube, which, kind of wild, right? But so be it. I love it. If I find some years people are kind of crazy for WBC stuff and content, especially right before the con. The last several years, I've done silly team ranking exercises, and people kind of seem to enjoy that and talk about it. So I'll probably do something like that again, assuming we get a team tournament. By the way, not to harass our staff too much, but our online updates have been pretty bad again this year. We still have no event previews, whereas last year all the previews were done back in like March or April. I'm kind of guessing this is going to be another year where we either don't get event previews or they're posted in a flurry days before the event, which is hardly useful for anybody at that point. The fact we don't have previews yet is not good. But the fact that we don't have previews yet also makes me wonder, like, when are we actually going to get the announcements about the team tournament, and how long are people going to have to actually sign up and put in their stupid little predictions? But hopefully that goes up. I find it to be a fun side tradition on top of all the other silly side traditions this organization runs and does, and it's one small facet of the con that I still just love and really enjoy all of this little nonsense. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to them announcing who won the team tournament. By the way, I'm pretty sure I know. Most of us know how to like run the math. I'm pretty sure I've known for a long time. But my team had a really good year again last year. All the players on my team, I think, scored points last year, which is pretty good. But I'm pretty confident we got beat out. But I think my team will have been in the like top 3 for like the 3rd year in a row. So that'll be kind of cool. I think we were almost back-to-back team winners, right? Or am I already too far back? Maybe we weren't back-to-back. I got so lost. 2024. Okay, yeah, we lost in 2024. Sorry, we were 3rd in 2024. We were close to repeating. Oh, and then it's okay. So that was the year where we all put up points. Maybe last year Eric Freeman did not put up Amon Ray points, and maybe Rob also didn't innovation points. I genuinely can't even remember anymore. We'll see. It'll get posted soon. I'm bleeding together. Yeah, okay. So we've been 1st, and then we were 3rd. I think we're gonna be 2nd this year. So anyhow, it's a cool run. I enjoy all these stupid little side competitions that go on. Hopefully this gets updated too. And yeah, anyhow, if anybody ever has questions about the convention, let me know. Hopefully some people find this stupid little video fun. Hopefully it's enjoyable for some. I love WBC, love chatting about it, love talking about it. I know Nick Henning has done scheduled videos like this, and I sometimes watch his and see what he's doing. His process is a bit different, and his process is fun. His range is even wider than mine, so like he really every block can just be like, well, there's like 6 events I'd be happy to play. Like what do we choose? And yeah, it's fun. It's fun watching his thoughts through it all too. So. But yeah, I love this con. I love the organization as a whole. I hope a lot of people are able to get out and try it someday. I hope people are enjoying this video, and yeah, I hope to play a bunch of great games with great people at WBC once again. I can't really wait for it. Got to thank all the people chatting earlier too. Gonzo, thanks for swinging by. Lumen, obviously, always glad to hear from you. Patrick, obviously great to hear from you. Both Lumen and Patrick, looking forward to seeing you at WBC. Heroic Logic, I see you just came in recently. Thanks for swinging by. Always appreciate it. Zizak, you were obviously here much earlier. Appreciate you stopping by for a silly WBC video. Yeah. In general, I am... Oh, Gonzo, you're back! I was just saying the goodbyes. I summoned you. I said your name like 30 seconds ago. Okay, the video's going to go a bit longer because now I'm going to wind up chatting to people. Anyhow, Heroic Logic, great to see you too. I'm hoping to stream a couple... I'm hoping to stream slightly more regularly going forward. By slightly more regularly, just like at least a couple times a month. But God, yeah, it's a little hard to find time. And then yeah, it's been so frustrating that my computer is like... My computer works for my day-to-day life, so it seems silly to replace it just so I can stream. But God, yeah, it just gets weirdly bogged down while trying to stream Ark Nova. I guess the answer is I do need to... Maybe tomorrow I'll find time to try to stream Agricola and see if it gets bogged down there too. Or if it's just part of my issues lately is that the Ark Nova implementation on BGA has some memory leak and like makes the browser really sluggish. I kind of doubt that, but I don't know. Because yeah, I've pretty much only streamed Ark Nova for like months now, so I should try to see if I can just actually stream like Agricola and do it enjoyably, and then I could just not stream much Ark Nova going forward or something. But you do see Ark Nova made the first column. What browser do I use? I've tried different browsers. My default browser is Firefox. I like Firefox, but I have tried streams in both Firefox and in Chrome. Uh, it doesn't really matter. But after it's weird. Sometimes I get through a stream and it's fine. But most of the time lately, when I start streaming, and even when I try to like refresh or reboot the web page, or like even close it out and restart it, my computer just gets annoyingly sluggish, and like I like click for an update and it just does not go through. And this is only a problem when streaming, to be clear. Um, like I play Arc Nova with friends or during the day without streaming, and it's basically fine. Like it, I do not, unless there's a small like BGA lag or connection issue, which that happens. BGA sometimes is laggy. Um, the streaming issue is definitely something about my computer cannot keep up with the visual processing going on, and it just gets very sluggish and very annoyed, and it's very frustrating because I start like timing out in the games and I can't focus anymore because like it's just such a pain to like input my moves, and sometimes I have to like pull up my phone so I can input my moves. It's bad. Um, I don't. I tried fully reinstalling and updating all of my OBS settings recently too, and I was hopeful that that was going to solve it. I think it maybe helped a little because I realized in hindsight a handful of my settings were bad, but yeah, I don't know. This is going to be out of left field, but you wonder if your onboard video card has a driver update. No, I thought about all that too. Sorry, to be clear, I fully I fully removed and re-downloaded and re-updated every video driver, graphics card driver, even my freaking audio headphone driver. I tried almost everything. The only thing I haven't done, and the thing that I probably should do, if I really want to give it a go, is I probably should figure out how to like just put most of my hard drive onto some external hard drive type thing or whatever. Like save my important files and then just like really freaking wipe my computer and try that. Um, that's kind of a big task though, because I'm gonna have to re-download all my programs and shit after that, which is not that many programs to be fair. It means that I'm gonna have to reset up all my OBS settings again though, I think, right? But it might be worth a go. Um, get me a new laptop dono drive. I mean, that's insane, right? Like, again, I do not stream enough, and I will not be streaming enough that there's no I do not have enough followers that are yeah gonna give me a laptop. That's obviously insane. SSDs are like the one cheap thing in computer hardware, though. Yeah. Oh, you said yeah, dono drive. Yeah. Um, Yeah, to be clear, my computer does have a solid state drive, just to be clear. But it's pretty. Well, I don't know how full it is. I don't know. Basically, I should. One thing I haven't really investigated is trying to like clean out old programs or stuff. Like, admittedly, as I start to think about this, the computer is like 5 or 6 years old. There maybe is some sort of thing I can try to do to like clean up files and remove stuff. Every time I stream, I also try to make sure that I like fully shut down and then start up fresh without a bunch of background programs or other things going on too. So like, I don't know. I've tried a lot of the basic stuff that's advised. I guess the other thing I could try to do is like pull up one of these more advanced freaking AI models nowadays and like fully explain my situation to it and see what it spits out. Maybe it comes up with some sort of theory or ideas or can really pinpoint my problem. Um, maybe. But anyhow, that sounds like a bunch of work, which is part of the reason I've not done it or found time to do it because I already barely stream as is. So, but I would like to stream a little more. And to be fair, a little bit of the time I try to stream, then it goes poorly and that annoys me and then I stop streaming. But yeah, finding time to sort of like do this work of like restarting, resetting things is kind of frustrating. But have you checked what happens on startup? Like, do you have a bunch of programs? Yeah, I've already done that. I've basically removed like yeah, I've done that too. But you'd also barely stream if my computer did what yours did. Yeah, I mean, I think most people would. It's just like I can get through like half a game and then it just starts getting so bogged down. And it's just no fun. It's also bad for the audience, right? Like if the viewers can't see the action that's happening because my computer is freaking so lagged up and I have to be inputting my phone, I have to input my moves on my phone, and basically my what's showing on my screen is just like 1 second it's this image, and then like 30 seconds later it's like here's the new game state. It's like that doesn't work for anybody. That's very jarring. So yeah. You don't think I'm a multiple times a week streamer regularly anymore, but you bet you'd stream more if the streaming part of it was zero issues. Yeah, I said this a little bit very early in the stream too, and even like right now, I'm getting dragged into streaming a bit, even though I thought I was about to end this, and this is probably a boring part of the video for most people, so like whatever. But I said this earlier. Part like there's multiple factors why I'm not streaming as much, but because I'm streaming less, there are less people that are regularly tuning into my stream. Coupled with I've mostly been streaming Arc Nova, which is not my core audience. It used to be Agricola and Terra Mystica, which is another reason I should maybe stream some more Agricola again. But anyhow, chatting is part of what makes streaming fun, but I have such weird times or schedules lately on when I can stream, and I don't stream regularly, so then I don't necessarily have as many people chatting as regularly, which also makes it less fun, so that I do it less, but like that's a bad cycle. But yeah, it feels like the golden age of board game streams when all of us had way too much time in the pandemic has kind of, gone away, which makes sense. I have less time than I had during the pandemic, which is why I'm streaming less, which is why I'm on Twitch less talking on other people's streams. But yeah, it means the whole environment is a little less as fun as it was at 1.2, but can there be a boring part of the video of a Google Sheet with WB scheduling? I mean, I think there can be, but it is a strong point that whoever is watching this video on YouTube to this point, if they're still listening to me, they're one of like 3 people probably, because yeah. Although again, I have been shocked how many people watch my freaking like 2-hour WBC team estimating videos. And now when I say how many, it's still in the dozens, but there are like dozens of people that are watching those stupid videos like most of the way through. There are people that go to WBC and then talk to me at WBC because they're like me and that they're very excited about the con leading up to it, and any content they can watch or like think about it and think about teams and games and people they know is like just part of the fun for a very niche subset of us crazy folk. But yeah, I mean, I feel like talking about my computer woes at the end of the video is extra boring, but again, who's even around? So I've barely been paying attention to how many viewers I've had most of the stream. I'm assuming it's very low, indeed, very low, but that makes sense. So the real thing is a optimization. I'll tell you this: Lumens is definitely more optimized. Lumen even gave me his sheet once, and his sheet is kind of sweet in that like it sort of auto selected things and put them into your schedule. You don't have to like copy and paste crap over like I'm doing. But I sort of created my system a while ago that works for me. And oh wait, an optimization battle between Lumen and Claude. Sorry, not me. Oh, that would be intriguing. Yeah, I've never asked Claude to provide me anything. I am curious what Claude would output for me nowadays. But again, at the same time, I'm sort of used to looking at it this way. I'm sort of used to battling with it this way. Once I have my schedule figured out, I sometimes will create copies of it, and then I can kind of highlight various paths too of like, okay, I'll start highlighting like, okay, if I'm running the Through the Ages path, it looks like this, right? And I'll start highlighting the games I'm actually going to play. And then a different tab will show me like what the diplomacy schedule looks like, what this schedule looks like. So anyhow, yeah, I don't know. I have my systems. I have what I like to do. I have what works for me. But certainly I don't know that it's optimized, and I don't know that my spreadsheet's great, but Lumen is a sheet wizard. That's the fun. Lumen is very good at Google Sheets. Yeah. To be honest, your Liker Sheet's better than the attempts Claude has made to optimize them in your experience. I don't know. You guess King of Tokyo. Oh my gosh. Gonzo, that's crazy. That's your like 3rd game request, isn't it? Or is it your 4th? That's wild that you've had that many points building up. Also, like, God, you've got so many of those points from God knows when, because I have not been streaming enough for people to have channel points. I agree. I think that's your fourth. I also think Patrick is still, owed a. I think Patrick still owed a War of the Ring stream, so there is that. But Ark Nova twice and Lord of the Rings. Oh yeah, God, you could request 3 games. Okay, I also assumed Heroic Logic that you had a bunch because you've not redeemed stuff much. I'm guessing a handful of other people still have quite a bit, but yeah. Again, I don't stream enough lately. Coupled with I do not know that there's as many people on Twitch anymore to be earning a ton of channel credits from me. But anyhow, the King of Tokyo, if that's what you want, yeah, I do. I kind of enjoy King of Tokyo, so we can throw down King of Tokyo. It might be. It's not gonna be right now. Well, I guess it could be right now. No, it's not gonna be right now. I'm gonna leave this as just the WBC schedule video, even though I've not been talking really about the schedule for a bit now. I'm probably gonna try to stream a game tomorrow, so maybe I can get the King of Tokyo in tomorrow some point too, which would be fun. But anyhow, that's why you pick King of Tokyo, because it's the easiest thing in the world to just fit in. Fair enough. I appreciate you, buddy. I, you're welcome to ask for other games, but you're right. Given how little I stream my core games anymore, we probably shouldn't be asking me to like learn a freaking god knows what and then actually stream it. Because clearly I'm not actually streaming freaking. I'm clearly not. I clearly am not streaming Patrick's War of the Ring, even though I did at one point play War of the Ring online many years ago during the pandemic. And I do love War of the Ring. War of the Ring is a great game, but God, I have no idea when I would have the time to like set up and figure out that interface and schedule a game and do it. So you didn't want to get another 50 point to request a play you don't play twice. Yeah. Despite you being ultra right about Ark Nova, yeah, it's pretty correct. Again, let's pull it up quick. This is a slight sideline. I haven't even gone to BGA, but how many Ark Nova games have I played on BGA? I've played roughly 10 to 15 Ark Nova games in person. So I'm up to I'm up to about 220 Ark Nova games. Yeah, that's quite a bit. Quite a bit from last September. So has been a good time, but the rightest I've ever been, they're saying. You've been pretty right. You were pretty right. So, yeah. My Ark Nova rating is basically my Agricola and Terra Mystica rating. I'm right there at 600. The problem is the Ark Nova scale goes up to like freaking 900, and I have not reached that. I feel a little plateaued in my skill at the moment, which, again, I don't know that I'm going to get better before WBC, but I'm hoping to. I really need to find time to study Ark Nova games. That's what I really need to do, but anyhow. Have I played Sam at all? No. The big issue is I refuse to Marine Worlds because I'm very focused on learning Ark Nova, WBC Ark Nova. I barely play alt maps, so it's partly time zones don't work great, but it's also like Sam basically always plays Arena, and Arena, ever since I've started playing Ark Nova, is always Marine Worlds. It's also always alt maps, which, to be clear, I do agree alt maps are like better balanced, but alt maps are not what's in the physical box. You cannot play on alt maps in real life, so I continue to mostly practice like exactly WBC settings. How important is that really? I don't know that's that important. Not practicing for Marine Worlds, I think that is kind of important. I do think Marine World shifts the game up just enough. Like, I think it's better to focus on just the base game. But anyhow, yeah, how much does Sam play just base game games anymore? I don't think so. So I've never run into him. And yeah, I've never been in the arena queue for Ark Nova. If they ever ran an Ark Nova season without freaking Marine Worlds, I would probably be in it. But I get it. A lot of them like Marine Worlds and want to play with it. But I feel like Marine Worlds for Ark Nova is kind of at that take it or leave it stage. So I do kind of wish the gurus would once vote to leave it out. Like, I think that would be cool to at least have just a base season again. But I'm not a guru. Which, actually, now that I say that, that's kind of crazy. I'm not an Arc Nova guru. I've never been an Arc Nova guru, but God, I play quite a bit of Arc Nova. But God, that just shows how many people are playing how much Arc Nova. Because yeah, that's wild. But anyhow, maybe once I've got a WBC year under your belt, you experiment with Marine Worlds. That's basically the plan. Yeah, yeah. Basically, after July, after this WBC, I think I will. I think I'll play Marine Worlds. Like, to be clear, I have played like a Marine Worlds game. I know the Marine Worlds mechanics. I do watch some of the videos to get ideas of how to play. Um, it's not even like I hate Marine Worlds. I do think I prefer just the base game, which is not shocking because that's kind of how I am about most games. But I think Marines Worlds is fine. Um, but yeah, I fundamentally don't want to play a ton of Marine Worlds games. I want to focus on learning base Arc Nova really well at the moment. So gurus never make sense. Gurus are a bit weird, especially for some games. It does not take much to become a guru at some games because they're just so inactive. But hypothetically, you're supposed to reach guru status if you're in the like top 1% of games played over the last week or something. That's loosely how you obtain guru status. I don't remember the exact cutoffs, um, but anyhow, yeah, I would love for the Arc Nova to be just base. But anyhow, I've only played just base thus far. But yeah, I think after WBC, I'll probably open up to Marine Worlds and like if I played Marine Worlds, I would have a lot more opportunities to play high level players, and that is one other small issue I'm having at the moment. Um, my live plays, it's very difficult to like. There's a lot of people still who are like strong. I can play quite a few strong players, but it's really rare that I come across other like 5, 6, 700s playing base game and joining my tables. So I don't get a lot of other practice against people of my skill level, and I think that's also making it hard for me to figure out how to improve at the moment. Um, and yeah, if is most of the Marine Worlds, like most of the real experts are playing Marine Worlds in Arena, and yeah, I just don't run into them. So, but yeah, you're glad you like Arc Nova because it's one of the rare games that stuck with you and you wanted to play over and over. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. It's been fun. Like there are quite a few games I'm willing to play over and over, but I mean, it's still I play so many games ultimately, and it is rare that I want to play a game 200 times and still want to play more. So I mean, Arc Nova is a very rare breed. It's relatively rare for me to want to play a game dozens of times and like reach 100-ish plays. There's a decent number of games that have done that and then kind of plateaued. That's a bit of like Beyond the Sun. I've plateaued a bit, and Orleans I've plateaued a bit, and yeah. But anyhow, you think the goal for me is to get my picture on whatever sponsor card that the Arena Season Wizard gets their picture on? That would be cool, but I actually don't really care about that. I kind of don't care about the Arena winners. I kind of think Arena is a pretty poor way to determine a winner. Consistently and persistently, people that win Arena play an insane number of games. To be an Arena champ, you not only have to be good, you have to play a ton. So there is something to being an Arena winner, but I basically don't have the time for most games to be an Arena winner. So yeah. You just think it's a cool thing. I do. To be clear, I think it's a cool thing. I think it's cool that they recognize somebody and throw them on the card. It's a very cool little thing. I'm all for it. It's just not actually a goal of mine because I don't want to win an Arena season. If they ran like some one-time tournament to determine who's gonna be on the card, yeah, I would compete and it would be cool. Like, but basically, yeah, I need a finite number of games, like a defined finite number of games in a tournament. Then I would consider it. But like Arena is just like the winners usually have hundreds of games played over a 3 month period. And it's just like I'm sorry. You gotta go put your kids to bed, which is probably good news for me, given that I've already extended my shutting down stream by 30 minutes. Correct. Absolutely correct. I've not been talking about WBC. Anyhow, it's been great talking to you. It's been great. Hopefully I can stream a bit more. Hopefully some stuff works. Maybe I actually get around to monkeying with my computer / asking an AI and can figure out how to stream more consistently anyhow. Luckily, it turns out Google Sheets does not slow my computer down. It's been fine. So also the other answer is more boring scheduling video streams. But anyhow, it's been nice to have you around. See you around. Yeah, thanks. Heroic Logic, been great having you around too. Glad you enjoy the Arc Nova stuff. Again, anybody who's still here, anybody who has been hanging out, thanks so much. It's been great. I'm gonna hang out just a demo of St. Pete. Yeah, that's yeah. We're just got spreadsheets, but I guess yeah. The quick summary again. Super excited for WBC. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing all my friends there again. Can't wait to run into all the new friends I'm gonna make. Every year you start running into new people and you see them again and again, and it's so fun. It's so good. I'm really looking forward to the game list overall for me this year. I'm pretty pumped for it. Most of the days just look excellent. Like just thinking through it right now, like I'm gonna do one more quick run through right at the end. Like this is like Dream World. What happens at WBC for me? I think right now Dream World is like I play Amun Ray, I play Beyond the Sun, I play Great Western, and 2 heats of Agricola on the first day. What a day! What a day! You show up to WBC and you just play 5 like really. I play 5 games that I rated 9 or better. I do really enjoy these games. They're great fun, really fun. Like it's just gonna be great. Day 2, if everything goes like if things go really dreamy, I'm playing Great Western into Beyond the Sun. I'm playing a random heat of 5 tribes just for numbers and fun. I mean, we'll see. Currently, probably not. Like right now, it's not actually obvious. I get to play Arc Nova. I get to play Stone Age, and hopefully, I get to play the Agricola semifinals. That's another very fun day. The next morning, who knows what I'm doing at this point, but then I get to play Vegas Showdown, I get to play Santa Fe Rails, I get to play Amun Ray. Hypothetically, let's say I'm going to do the Beyond the Sun semifinal line into the Amun Ray semifinals. It's pretty fun first 3 days. I already got my Great Western heats in, so now I'm probably playing another heat of Santa Fe Rails. I'm playing the Great Western semifinals. I'm playing another Stone Age heat. I'm playing St. Petersburg. On Wednesday, I'm playing the Arc Nova quarterfinals. Hopefully, maybe I'm playing the Stone Age quarterfinals too. I'm playing the Santa Fe semis. I'm playing more of like a showdown. I'm playing Acquire. I'm playing some St. Pete. The next morning, this day looks super fun. St. Pete semis, Vegas Showdown semis, Stone Age semis, Arc Nova semis, Moon Colony Bloodbath into Moon Colony semis. I mean, again, am I actually going to make it into all 5 of those semifinals? Who the hell knows? Like, that would be very. I'd be very lucky, but you know, even if I make like 3 of these semifinals, what a day! Like it'd be so cool. Friday, Friday morning, I actually don't know what I'm going to be in yet, or I'm just GMing these, like whatever, and then I get to play Agizia, I get to play Concordia, I get to play more Agizia, and then I get to play Diplomacy. The next day, I'm probably just playing more Diplomacy. Hopefully, I'm sneaking into like Concordia or Acquire semis. Otherwise, I'm playing some other stuff. I'm playing more Diplomacy, and then I'm playing Agizia semis to finish out the week. Like, that's an awesome week with a ton of games that I really enjoy. It's going to be with a lot of people I enjoy. Again, like there's scenarios here where I'm in a lot of different semifinals too for games that I legit enjoy and really like. I could have a really big week again, which is definitely like. Again, most of my scheduling goal is to give myself the possibility of a huge week. Like, I've been enjoying jamming my schedule absolutely full, playing a ton of games I love, and seeing how it goes. And that's what I get to do. And the schedule looks really good for me this year overall. I am definitely a little bit sad about like 5 tribes and Navigador. 5 tribes, Orleans, and Navigador all being things that like probably aren't going to work out for me is a bit of a bummer. All 3 of these are games where I've made the final table before. So it is definitely a little sad that those don't work out. But I know, again, I have so many other opportunities in a bunch of games that I really do enjoy. So, yeah, it should be a fun time. So, a bunch of fantastic games. Yeah, it's WBC runs so many great tournaments, but yeah, in particular, I've found a lot of games that I legit really love and enjoy, and yeah, it looks like another just really great week. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good time. I've enjoyed making this video and blabbing about it for a bunch of time. Glad some WBC folks swung by. Glad, yeah, to have God's own heroic logic and some others swing by. So thanks, guys. And yeah, it's been great. But yeah, I indeed truly should end it here. Can't wait for WBC. Can't wait for it all. Looking forward to, again, yeah, meeting all my old friends, meeting new friends. Looking forward to all the games, all the nonsense. It's gonna be a great time. Yeah, hopefully get some streams in leading up to it. One of my like hypothetical goals is to hopefully like stream. This is, I guess, we'll loop into my final stream hopes. My goal would be to stream most of the WBC games that I'm playing leading up. So like St. Pete is on BGA, Agricola, Great Western, Arc Nova, Beyond the Sun, Stone Age, Concordia, Puerto Rico, like all are WBC games that I'm hoping to play this year that are on BGA. Now, that's 8 streams worth of games. Am I actually doing that? I don't know, but maybe. It'd be cool. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, fun little overview of what my hypothetical week is. Part of the joy of WBC is that everybody's week looks a little bit different. There's so many games being run, so many opportunities. There are people that will play none of these games that I'm playing. There's going to be people that play a handful of those games, a whole slew of other games I'm not playing, and like, it's just such a cool con. It's so fun to go see everything. So I can't wait for it. Looking forward to it. I'm heading off for now. Hoping to sneak in some other streams about WBC and WBC games leading up to it. But we'll see. Later, everybody.